Hi everyone, my name is Angie and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about this. So as you can see from the indicator light, this is the Meta Ray-Ban. So it has an inbuilt camera which is over here, and this is the indicator light when it's recording or it's taking a photo. So I've had this for about 2 months now. I got it shortly before the National Day happened in Singapore, which I was involved in, and partially how I landed on a pair of these glasses is because of that as well. So someone I was working with at NDP had a pair, and he essentially cycled me and my colleague to buy one, and yeah, it worked. So here we are with a pair of Meta Ray-Bans. This has been my day-to-day glasses. So I've got the lens exchanged. When I bought it, it came in the sunglass variant. So this is a piece of like shaded colored lens with no prescription. So I do wear spectacles, although my degree is not very high. So most of the time when you see me in a video, I'm not bespectacled because if it's such a near proximity, I don't actually need glasses. So generally at home, I'm not wearing my glasses. But if I do go out, I do need to wear one because the blurriness is kind of confusing sometimes when I look into the distance. So I got this changed out into prescription lenses as well as transition. So it is easier for me when I'm walking out and about outdoors. So NDP is an outdoor venue, and in Singapore's weather, it's never predictable, and when it's hot, it gets really hot. So I got this done partially because of that as well. The Meta Ray-Bans is actually not available in Singapore, officially at least, or the Asia market. I think it's as of now only available to the US and European region. So I happened to chance upon a listing on Amazon, which ships to Singapore. So I got it. So there is actually a little bit of a price difference on Amazon. So if I were to take the US price tag on the Meta Ray-Ban's web store and I convert it to Sing dollars, I'm essentially paying like 100 Sing dollars markup. I'm treating it as like shipping fee. Yeah. So after wearing it for 2 months, there are some perks and obviously some cons. First thing is, it's a little bit hard to get used to these spectacles because it's so heavy. I mean, it's not just framed with glasses, there is actually tech inbuilt into this, so it is quite weighty. And second thing is, I'm not sure how noticeable this is. I actually attached like the stick-on nose pads. The headliner is actually the version for low nose bridges, but as a typical Asian, we are not very blessed in that area. So even with the low nose bridge variant of these glasses, it's not enough. So it kept sliding forward, which these nose pads actually helped. I actually got 2 different kind of nose pads. This is the second one I've gotten. So these are much thinner than the first one I've gotten. The first one was really for like low nose bridges, but that was a bit too much. So when I had that on, my glasses was constantly like this high, which is not comfortable. So I changed mine out into these slightly thinner ones. It's a kind of like a rubbery material, so it does help to keep the specs in place and prevent it from sliding forward. Of course, there's different version of like, to prevent your glasses from sliding forward, you can attach something at the back of this bridge to hook behind your ear, and that will help as well. But occasionally I do wear in-ear earphones, so that's not gonna work out well. Yeah, so this so far has been okay. Yeah, so the weight is one thing that it took me some time to get used to. Doesn't help that my previous specs was made of plastic and it's really light. Occasionally when I do go back to that pair of glasses, when I don't need something that's transition, I kind of feel like I'm not wearing spectacles at all, which I guess is good and bad. So another thing about these glasses is obviously the inbuilt camera. Locally, I think not a lot of people are aware that this tech is available. It's not really publicized. Like, I didn't even know about it until like my friends showed it to me that this thing exists. So not everyone is aware of what this can do. So even in NDP, when we started wearing these glasses and we started telling people about it, that's how they became aware, including this like indicator light. So after we tell them about it, obviously they are noticing this, but otherwise I've realized even if I'm walking out and about just filming my like day-to-day, not everyone pays attention to it. It's helpful to indicate that, you know, something's going on, but it's not loud enough, I guess, for compared to like you actually holding your phone up to somebody's and recording something, you know. Now, part of the reason why I'm quite sold on this like camera in your specs kind of thing is there are times whereby I want to film something, I want to take a photo of something, but it's either my phone gets stuck trying to unlock, or sometimes I'm not sure if it's a thing of the past, but there are times when I launch my camera and it does not launch. It's a black screen. Obviously it's not happening now, but it has happened before. So this is actually really helpful in that if it's on, it takes really short amount of time to just press record and actually film whatever's going on. Now, there is a function to change. There's a single button over here at the top of the spectacle frame. You press it. By default, pressing it once will take a photo. Pressing and holding it will start a video recording. But I've swapped it around in the app, so now a single press for me is a video and a press and hold is a photo. Because the kind of things I generally film are moments where I would like to keep in memory, so a photo doesn't do much in that scenario. So for me, it's a short video. I've set the default duration to 30 seconds. Back when these Meta Ray-Bans first came out, I believe the limit was only 15. They have since increased that to 3 minutes, which I think is a huge difference and much more useful now than just like 15 seconds. So I found my sweet spot, which is 30 seconds. So that's how long I've got it configured. Another thing, with a camera and electronics comes a battery. So battery life on this is bad. But what can you expect out of something so small? If you only use it for, let's say, listening to music, because there is an inbuilt speaker, it could probably last you maybe 6 hours. But even that, I think, is stretching it. So usually what I do is, in the middle of the day, if I know I'm not going to be using the specs for any of its fancy functions, I will turn it off. So it's just a normal pair of spectacles for me. The startup sequence do take a little bit long, so if you're anticipating that you have something you want to capture, you do have to turn it on in advance. It takes about like 10-15 seconds for it to properly start up and be able to start recording. So that it's a little bit of a bummer. I have missed situations, or rather I have missed moments while waiting for the spectacles to start up before. So yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer in that the startup sequence can be faster and it's taking so long. But it's not anything that's too disruptive, you know, like having this is already an added bonus, I would say. Like, instead of this, I would have been trying to pull out my phone, trying to start up the camera app and switching to video or whatever. Yeah, so another thing that I use these spectacles for is speakers. So I've actually stopped bringing out headphones, earpieces, or AirPods for that matter. I've been using this. There is 2 inbuilt speakers. Now, I've noticed a lot of people saying like, why didn't they choose to, I'm not sure how clear this is, but yeah, you can see the little speaker over here. So I've heard people asking like, why not use bone conducting technology instead of having 2 little speakers blasting to your ear? Obviously, I don't know what's the pro and cons of that, like how different the tech is. But the downside to having little speakers blasting in your ear is if you're in a very noisy environment, you're not going to be able to hear anything. So from where I live to get to work, I take the train, which is underground train, and there is a section of the tunnel that is extremely noisy, and in that section I just can't hear anything. So I'm not sure if having the bone conducting technology in these glasses would have made a difference. But other than that, the speaker has really decent quality. Like, I mean, if you're an audiophile, you can definitely tell that this is a pair of extremely small speakers. So don't expect too much out of it. But generally, I have my music volume set at about 60% and I can hear it really, really clearly. I rarely had to go past 70%, but that's also because I generally don't like my music to be too loud. So most of the time it's around 50 to 60%, sometimes even 40 if I'm in a really quiet environment. And it's really decent, like it's good. Now also, there is inbuilt microphone. So this is connected to your handphone via Bluetooth. So you can actually pick up calls on this. And I've tried it before. And my friend on the other end of the call told me that I sound okay. I didn't sound like I'm really muffled or anything, but I have no idea how I sound like. So I am gonna set up something to help me with that. So this is gonna sound really weird, especially weird for me because I can hear myself as a delay in my ear. So what I have done is I've connected myself via a vMix call with the settings set in this format. So I have the front camera as well as my specs joined in as a mic. So I've joined myself as a camera and I'm gonna turn off this microphone and instead turn on the microphone that's on my spectacles. And I'm not sure how much of a delay there is because this is coming from my frontal camera and the voice is coming through the call, but I'm gonna change over to my phone now, which is over here. Oh my god, that was so confusing. So I have no idea how this sounds like because this is my first time trying out this whole like setup. I've heard through phone calls that it sounds okay, but you know, I don't know. Tell me how it sounds like. Obviously, I'm gonna review the footage and talk about it later on in the video, but as of now, this is what this spectacles microphone sounds like. Yeah. Okay, now that was confusing as heck. That was confusing the heck out of me. Okay, that is closed now. We are back on this microphone. I'm not gonna tap it. Honestly speaking, it doesn't sound bad. Like, it sounds really, really decent for what it is. It's essentially a really small microphone built into a pair of glasses. And it sounds really nice. Like, I would say that it sounds better than what an AirPod sounds like. Like, I've had multiple calls with people on AirPods and it's always either too muffled because there is no active noise cancellation, which I've turned off, or some headphones just not cutting it. Depends on what other Bluetooth devices we use. So, and at the same time, Bluetooth is actually really old technology, so obviously the bandwidth and data is not that great. But despite all that, I think it sounds pretty decent. Like, it's surprisingly good to me, at least. Now, I've tested what I wanted to test. That was something that I've myself has been quite intrigued by for the longest time. So it was nice to get that out of the way. I do have a massive pet peeve of these spectacles. As a person with long hair, like this is actually really annoying for me. I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but like as much as possible, right? I always have this habit of like digging and clawing my hair back so there's minimal of those curls underneath my glasses at where the sideburns are. But I'm not sure if it's just the build of these specs or what, but throughout the day of wearing it, generally it becomes something. I mean, I'm gonna be exaggerating it a little bit, but at the same time not really. So this is on a good day, it's gonna look like that. On a bad day, it might come out like this. Yeah, which is a pet peeve for me. It doesn't do this as much on my other spectacles, but at the same time, because the frame of this Ray-Bans are just so thick, it kind of just traps hair everywhere. Yeah, I'm not sure how to better demonstrate that pet peeve, but essentially that is what it is. Like, these hairs will just not stay where they are and they ended up coming out like that. But I think that is partially because of like how the specs is slipping and then me pushing it back up, and then it will slip some more and then I'll push it back up, and that kind of draws the hair out, I guess. But yeah, that's a massive pet peeve I have on these spectacles. Like if you see me in real life, there are multiple times where like in the middle of a meeting or something, I'll be just like doing this because I cannot stand the hair just curled up around my ears. It feels really weird for me. Yeah, but that is my pet peeve. So if you have followed me on social media, you have seen a few videos that I've put out using these glasses. Video quality is generally quite good. You can find all the tech specs online, so I'm not gonna go into details. But the weird thing is that it doesn't record in like a 9:16 format. It is slightly wider, like a 4:5 or like a 5:7. It's not exactly 9:16, which I can understand why, because the camera is off center, it's to the side. So when you are filming, it is actually like slightly angled towards your right. So whatever I'm looking at that is in the center of my vision, and if it's not too close, it's generally in the center of the frame. But occasionally I use this to film my pet cats when they come up to me to sniff my face, which is really cute. But during moments like that, you can clearly tell that the camera is not in the center of my face, you know. But obviously those are when subjects come way too close, so that's to be expected. But other than that, it's generally quite centralized. The extra wideness of the framing do give me the ability to chop things off if I want to. So if I do want to crop it into a 9:16, I can do that relatively easily, and I will still retain most, if not all, of the details that I want to capture, unless it is quite a wide scene, which in my recent setup shots that I posted actually happened. So it was quite a wide space that could not all be captured into the glasses because this is recording in a particular format. So something else that's inbuilt into the Meta Ray-Bans is the Meta AI, which I do not use. Generally, I'm not someone that likes to talk out loud. So doing this, I don't know how I started doing this, but yeah, so I don't have like Siri turned on. I don't have any form of home assistant that's voice activated. If I'm alone, I don't talk. So at the same time, Meta AI is not available in the region I'm in. So if I want to use it, I do have to turn on a VPN and ping myself to like the US or Europe. And based on the videos I've seen, it's in the really early stages of artificial intelligence. So you can do things like tell me what I'm looking at, and then they will give a really simple two-liner of like a description of what the item is, which is, as of now, I don't feel like it's what I even need. So yeah, I just completely turned off that feature. But otherwise, if you want to get your hands on a pair and you're not in Americas or the Europe, you can, if you can find it on like third-party websites like Amazon. Everything else is functional except for the Meta AI. Another pet peeve I do have is with the app. If you are recording multiple videos throughout the day and you only import them into your photo library at the end of the day, they are all gonna be in jumbled up sequence. I don't know how to fix that. I did read somewhere that if you, instead of letting the app import, if you select it and then you share and save to photos, it helps. But I find that too troublesome. Like the app is already importing everything. So yeah, give and take, I guess. Yeah, so this is my 2 months review of the Meta Ray-Bans. I mean, at this point, it is my daily spectacles. I don't intend on going back to my old ones. So I am expecting that I will be traveling with this, just going about my day with this. I'm also noticing when people are spotting this thick black frames, I'm like, ooh, is that a Meta Ray-Ban? Occasionally when I do watch YouTube videos, I do notice things like that. It's like, ooh, this person has a Meta Ray-Ban as well. So that's quite fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. If I convert the price from